Okay, so welcome back to the new session. Here in this session, we'll be seeing how to use page context and what is the purpose of the page context implicit object in JSP. Okay, so let me open the application. So I've created a folder called page context in my web apps directory. So this is the application that we are going to see now, page context. So it has index.html file, second.jsp file, and welcome.jsp file. And we don't require any web.xml file for this application because this is not related to any parameters reading from web.xml file. This is a different thing. Okay. So let me first explain you what is the purpose of this page context implicit object. So we have already used sessions concept in both servlets and JSP, right? So what is the purpose of session? Using a session, we can create some variables and store some data in those variables and make these variables data available to the entire application. That means no matter how many servlet files you create, if it is a servlet application, then you can make the session variables values available in all the servlets classes in a servlet application. Similarly, when coming to JSP application also, whenever you create a session attribute, session variable value, that value can be accessed in the entire application, that is in all the JSP files that you create. So that is the advantage with the session variables, right? But what is the problem with session variable is whenever a user logs into his application, a session variable will be created, and once he logs out of that application, the session variable will be automatically destroyed. So no longer that session variable will exist. So when a new user tries to log into that application, for him also a different session variable will be created, and when he logs out of his application, automatically that session variable will be destroyed again. So that means the session variables are not permanently stored on the server. Instead, they are stored only for as much time as the user uses the application after he logs into the application, right? So that is the problem with session. But we require that mechanism also. We don't want that users information to be stored on the server permanently, right? So because if you store them permanently, what will happen is your server will be completely filled with all the such session variables. In real time scenario, you can imagine how many users will be using a application. If you take a application like Facebook or something, uh, lakhs of millions of users will be using that application daily, and each time a user uh, logs into the application, if a new session variable is created and stored on the server permanently, so the number of variables will be increasing day by day, and the size, the amount of space they occupy on the server also will become uh, more, right? So that is not a good idea to fill the entire space available in the server with these session variables, right? So you cannot do that. Our purpose for a session variable is only to remember a user for a particular period of time, and once he exits that application, we no longer need his require his information. So we need to store it only for a temporary period of time, but we are storing it on the server so that it will not be uh, vulnerable. If you are storing it on a client machine, what will happen? The drawback is if you are storing a client's information using a cookie on the client machine. So if the client machine is being used by many people, so everyone can access that information, right? But if it is available on the server, nobody will be able to access it. Only the person who logs into that application will be able to see that, will be able to access that session variables information. That too only as long as he uses the application. Once he exits from the application, automatically it will be destroyed. What if you have some uh, information which is to be stored on the server and made available for all the users irrespective of whether they have logged in or not? what is a alternative? We need to have some mechanism also to store sometimes some information permanently on the server, right? So JSP provides us for creating these attributes. These session variables are nothing but we call them as attributes, right? So we have been using a method called set attribute method to create a new session variable, and then get attribute method to access an existing session variables value. So we have been using these two methods in our JSP application as well as in servlet application. So how we are creating that session variable using set attribute method, and how we are accessing the session variables value using get attribute method. So instead of using session get attribute and set attribute methods only for creating session variables, we can also use these methods to create some variables or attributes. Instead of calling them as variables, I'll use the term attributes. So you can create attributes and make them available depending upon our purpose. That means if you are using it for a session, we can make them available only for a limited amount of time. That is nothing but the first second where the user logs into the application, and after he logs out of the application, between these two time intervals, we can make these session variables available on the server, and once he logs out of the application, they can be destroyed. Similarly, we may want to create some attributes and store them on the server, but make them available for all the users always, right? So in that way we have different scenarios. In one scenario we want the attributes to be available only for a period of time, and in one scenario we may want the variables to be attributes to be available only to a particular page in the application, not for all the pages in the application. Or in a particular scenario we may want that attribute to be available uh, to the entire application, irrespective of whether you are logged in and logged out or not. We may want it to be available in the entire application, right? So as such, we have something called scope. That means you know the scope for a variable in your programming terminology, right? So what is a scope? Can anyone say what a scope is? The scope of a variable is nothing but uh, the region or the part of a program where you can access a variable's value. So that is called as scope of a variable. So similarly for these attributes or variables that we create on the server, so the variables that we create on the server in JSP, we call them as attributes. We can make these attributes available to the entire application always, permanently, right? So this is one kind of scope. We can call it as a one kind of scope. That means create a session attribute and make it available in the entire application. That means to all the pages that you create in your application, and always, not for a period of time. This is one type of scope for the attributes that we can create. The another type of scope is we can create variables and make them available only to a particular page. This is another kind of scope, right? So that means if there are 10 pages in your application, say in the first page I want to use some attributes, then these attributes will be available only to that particular page. So this is another type of scope. And second type of scope, the third type of scope is nothing but you can create attributes and store them on your server and make them available only to a particular request. Only to a particular request means, so you know what is a request? HTTP request, right? So that means for example, I'm requesting for my inbox in my Gmail application, right? So that whenever the user logs into his application, I can send a request for accessing all the list of mails in my inbox by sending a request by clicking on inbox link on the left pan of my application, right? So what is happening here? One request is being sent to the server. So I want to use some attribute which is created on my server and stored on my server be available only when I click on this inbox link. So when I click on some other, say for example drafts is there, some another link called sent is there in my Gmail application. So if I click on those links for sent mails or draft mails or junk mails or all these things, I don't want to access that particular attributes value, but I only want to access an attribute value when I send a request for inbox, not for other requests. So you can create some variables that is nothing but attributes and store them on server and make them available only for a particular request, and for all the users this attribute will be available, but it will be available only when he makes a request for inbox, not for other requests. So this is the third kind of scope. And what is the other one? A session, that is nothing but we know about the session scope, right? So in that way we have totally four different types of scopes. What are those four different types of scopes? You have four types of scopes. So what are they? First one is page scope, second one is request scope, third one is session scope, and fourth one is application scope. Okay, so that means I can create a attribute and make this attribute, I can create an attribute and store it on my server and make that attribute available for access either in only one page, or either for only one request, or either for a session, or for the entire application. So these are the four types of scope, right? So to do this, that means to create a session and make it available for these four types of scopes, we use an implicit object called, what is that object? Page context object. Okay, so that is what we are discussing now. So let me show you an example program here for using a page context implicit object. Okay, so what is the application that we created? This is nothing but page context. I have named it as page context under web apps directory. So inside page context I have one HTML file and two JSP files. The first one is index, that is index.html file, and then you have a welcome.jsp file and second.jsp file. So you don't require a web.xml file here. So let us open these programs. First let us see index.html file. So look at this index.html file. You have a form in the body which is having an action attribute, and whenever you submit this form, the request will be sent to which page? Welcome.jsp file. So inside this form I have a text field, just like we have seen in the previous program, the same text field with name attribute value as uname and a submit button called go. So whenever you click on this go button, the request will be sent to welcome.jsp file. So now let us see what is there in welcome.jsp file. So welcome.jsp file, I am defining a scriptlet here, and in the scriptlet what I am doing is using request.getParameter method, I am retrieving the text field value and storing it in a string variable called name. Then I am displaying a welcome message with that name. And now look at the third line, which uses our JSP implicit object called page context. So page context dot set attribute, the same set attribute method we have used in session, we can use it here also, but instead of using session implicit object, you can use now page context object. Okay, so page context dot set attribute, you know this method has different versions of constructors, right? Sorry, different version. This is an overloaded method, right? So if you look at the three parameters inside this method, first method is the name of the session attribute that you want to create, right? So I'm giving it as user in the form of a string, so I'm enclosing it in a double quote. Then the second parameter is the value that I want to store in that attribute. So the name of the attribute is user, and the value that I am storing in that user attribute is the value which is there in the name. So what is name containing? It is containing the value that we entered in the text field in the HTML form. So that value is stored in this attribute called user as a value. Then the third parameter is nothing but which specifies the scope of your attribute. So whether you want to make it available for a session, or you want to make it available for a page, you want to make it available for the entire application, or you want to make it available for entire request. So if you want to make it available for a session, then this page context object, actually this page context is nothing but a class, predefined class. So it is a predefined class which we have it in a servlet package, but this class will be used only when you are using JSP application. We don't use it normally in a servlet application. So what is this class going to do is, it is defining four different types of static variables, right? So those variables are specified with some names, predefined names. So the first one is session underscore scope. So this variable will give the scope, will give a scope for this attribute, that is nothing but session scope. Okay, so if you want to use a request scope, then you have another variable called request. So you observe these variables are static variables. They are just like constants. Their values are predefined. You will not be able to change them. Okay, so and because they are static, you can access their variables values directly by using the class name page context dot the name of the variable. So just like session underscore scope, you also have request, you also have page, and you also have the other one. What is that? How many scopes are there? We have listed in the previous just before. How many scopes you have? Page, request, session, and application, right? So you'll have four different variables with names as page, request, session underscore scope, and application underscore scope. Page underscore scope, uh, request underscore scope, session underscore scope, and application underscore scope. And these names must be in capital letters because they are predefined. You cannot change their names into different cases. Okay, and always you have to use a underscore after every word that you have in that name of the variable. So for example, request scope, you have a name as request underscore scope. For a page scope, you have page underscore scope, and for session scope, you have session underscore scope, and for application scope, you have application underscore scope. So in this scenario, I want to create a scope which is for a session. So I have to use this variable called session underscore scope. Okay, so where is this defined? In a class called page context, and this is a page context is a Java class which is available only for a JSP application which runs in a servlet context. That means every JSP file is automatically created into a servlet again, right? But the user is not able to see all that what happens in the background. So JSP applications are built upon servlets. So that means JSP uses servlet concept. So that's the reason why we are using this servlet concept here. Page context is a predefined servlet class which contains these four different static variables. So we have to call them using that servlet name, and this servlet will be available in every JSP file. So you can call it directly using the servlet name dot variable name. Okay, so we are creating a attribute with its name as user and its value as whatever value you entered in the text field. Then after that, what you are doing is using an out.print, you are displaying a hyperlink called second page, which upon clicking it will redirect you to another JSP file called second.jsp. So now let us see what is there in second.jsp. So in the second.jsp, what I can do is, there in the welcome.jsp file we have created an attribute, right? So here you can access that attribute value. You can access the attribute value by using the get attribute method. So there we have used set attribute method to create an attribute. Now because it is already created, we must be in a position to access that attribute value. So for that you have a method called get attribute. So you have to call that method using page context implicit object, right? So this is going to return an object which is of type object. So we need to typecast it into string by specifying the typecasting type in parenthesis, and that is nothing but string. So then the converted string value will be stored into the name string variable. Okay, so you observe the get attribute method, how many parameters it has. The first one is the name of the attribute that you want to access, whose value you want to access, and second one is the what is the scope of that attribute, what scope does it have, right? So you have to specify it. Whatever scope you have given in the set attribute method, the same scope you have to specify here. So there we have specified page context dot session underscore scope. So here also you have to specify the same page context dot session underscore scope. So then this will be the value of that session attribute will be retrieved and stored in this name string variable. Now that you have that value, you can display it again on the screen using out.print. Okay, so in how many ways you can use this page context? In 4 ways. For creating attributes and storing them with 4 different scopes. First one is page scope, second one is request scope, third one is session scope, and fourth one is application scope. To specify these scopes, you have 4 different integer values variables that are declared inside the class called page context. So they are static variables, so you can call them directly using the class name page context. Okay, so page context dot session scope refers to the scope created as session. That means this attribute will be available for the entire session in all the pages for a user. Once he logs out of that application, the session will be completed and no longer it will be available. So again, when it will be available, it will be available for a new user when he logs into his application. If I create using a scope application, irrespective of whether you have logged in or not, that attribute will be available for the entire application in all the pages. Okay, similarly if you create with session underscore page scope, then that particular attribute will be available only for that particular page in which you create. And if you create it request scope, then that attribute will be available only for that requested page, in that requested page for which the request is sent. Okay, so that is about page context implicit object.